Welcome back to Dallas Talking Ball. Today, me and Nathan are going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys, my team, and the Tennessee Titans, his team. We each made a couple of questions about each team, and yeah, you want to start by asking me a question?
Yeah, I got you. So obviously, you've heard the term glue guy. For me, a glue guy is someone that doesn't stand out, but is on the team to be put in scenarios to make big plays. You've got guys like Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
Besides those three players, who becomes a glue guy for your offense this year?
I mean, Javonte Williams is probably my number one answer for that because the dude had over 1,000 yards last year, a lot of rushing touchdowns, and he took over as our running back one on a cheap contract that we signed him for in the offseason before because everyone was worried how he would recover from that injury that he had. Well, he looked awesome last year. And, I hope to see him continue doing that and maybe get a couple more yards to go along with it. Maybe get to like 1,500 yards. That'd be awesome. But, then you also have guys like Jadon Blue that's on this team who second year, didn't get too much playing time last year. But I think he could be a real key piece of this offense because he has the speed. And, you got the power with Javonte and then the speed with Jadon. That's a good running back duo that you want to see. The power and the speed working together well that fit each other. So Javonte's getting all the rushes in the red zone, blowing through all the guys and scoring the touchdowns. And then you got Jadon Blue that gets you down to that area. And then, you still got Jake Ferguson on this team. That would probably be my third guy because, he's been here for a while. He got a big contract extension a couple of years ago. But, he's been a really solid tight end for us. He just needs to hold on to the ball, and I think that's how I would answer that one. My first question for you is, what do you want to see in Cam Ward's second year?
Like improving?
Yeah.
Number one, ball security. Obviously, as a rookie, you're going to have those mistakes, being a drop back quarterback, staying in the pocket a lot. But, obviously that and probably just his completion percentage. And then one of the biggest things that I would say is there was a point in time, the whole season pretty much, he's holding on to the ball a little bit too long. But obviously, you got to give him some slack. He's a rookie. He'll learn from it. And I think if he kind of, takes those three things that I just said and just gets better and better each week, practice, game week, the whole 9 yards, he could be a pretty good quarterback this year with the offense that we're bringing in. So looking forward to it, getting ready for the preseason game tomorrow. Probably won't see him play that much tomorrow, but, we'll see what he's got for the time he's in there. So looking forward to hopefully beating the 49ers in preseason. My next question is, obviously, I can't say much, but my defense was horrible. Your defense was about as bad as mine last year. But you guys brought in a lot of good talent on defense, good coaching staff. How well do you think that talent and coach, like the mindsets, the wisdom behind the coaching staff that you brought in, how does your defense look compared to last year to this year?
Well, it really can't get any worse. We were 32nd in the league in defense last year. And, we traded for guys like Quentin Williams. You got Kenny Clark. You got Caleb Downs that we drafted this year. We traded for D. Winters, a linebacker, which doesn't look like a big move, but linebacker was our weak spot, and I think that could be a sneaky good move. He gets a lot of tackles. Then you got Demarion Overshown. If he could stay healthy, this dude can be a beast. He just has to stay healthy. And, Downs is already learning, everything. We got Kobe Durant from the Seahawks he was on, I'm pretty sure. Or he was the Rams. I think he was the Rams. And he's a cornerback, which we were not very great at last year. Our cornerbacks were getting burnt a lot. And, I think getting Christian Parker helps because he was a cornerback coach with the Eagles. Yeah. So I think he can really help our cornerbacks, especially Deron Bland, who has a pretty big contract, get back to how he was. Maybe not totally back to his all-pro season when he had 6 pick sixes or whatever it was. He broke the NFL record. But I think he can at least become a decent cornerback again. Because interceptions isn't everything for a cornerback. You got to play good coverage against these guys. And I think they can. So, just seeing our cornerbacks get better, want to see improvement everywhere. We traded for Rashawn Gary as an edge rusher. We drafted Malachi Lawrence with our first-round pick as well. We have a lot of new guys on this defense. This will not be the same defense as last year at all. I'm hoping just to see them become a top 20, top 15 defense, because that shows improvement. And then you still got a lot of young guys on this defense, so seeing them improve more and more each year. But we got to see it soon, because Prescott doesn't have too much longer, I don't think. I mean, he's 32, but at some point we're going to start seeing some regress, and we can't be waiting too long to see improvement from this defense.
Yeah.
Because we need the defense to be good now while Prescott's right in his prime. But I think this could be a top 20, maybe top 15, maybe even top 10 defense in the league. But we will have to find out what Christian Parker's got with his coaching. My next question for you is, what offseason move do you expect to be the biggest game changer?
A lot of good players coming in, but I'm going to focus on the coaching staff. Brian Dable, obviously former Giants head coach. He's a good coordinator, was a great coordinator for 7 at Bama, for the Bills. I think the role he's playing this year, the offensive coordinator with the talent we've got, we got Cam Ward, got Io Minor, DK, Gunnar Helm, Carnell Tate. You've got Tony Pollard in the backfield with Tajay Spears. You got Calvin Ridley coming back too, that veteran leadership. With that core of receivers and a good, two good running backs with a second-year quarterback, I'd let it fly. I wouldn't hold them back. This offense this year could easily be a top 15, top 10 offense, just because I know how good of a play caller Brian Dable is. Obviously the head coaching spot he wasn't great at, but as a coordinator he thrives, and that's obviously you see it in this day and age of college coaches, professional coaches, no matter what sport you're playing or coaching, you see how they transition from coaches to coordinators or coordinators to coaches. I think this transition from a head coach to a coordinator can ease that tension off Brian Dable. He only has to focus on the offense, because as your head coach, you're focusing on offense, defense, special teams, the whole 9 yards. But as just a coordinator alone for one specific spot, you're focusing on the offense. That takes a lot off your plate. All you got to do is call a good game. Brian Dable was probably the biggest move, in my opinion, this offseason. Hands down. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he wasn't a good coach, but he's one heck of a coordinator.
Yeah.
So my third question is, obviously, you talked about Jake Ferguson a lot. The first question, just his success and, a lot of touchdown catches, good receiving yards. But there was some fumbles here and there.
Yep.
So not just him, but kind of touch on, ball security as a team. Give me some of your, top players that you want to see hold on to the ball a little bit better.
Well, obviously Jake Ferguson's number one, because he had a lot of bad fumbles right when we were driving, getting over the 50-yard line, and they were killers in those drives. You just killed the momentum that we had going for us, and that really hurt us. So if he could have that ball security, then a lot of these drives that we have going won't end at the 50-yard line, and then all of a sudden they go score, because that was the problem. We fumble, they go score instantly, because our defense was not that great. You had to score on every possession. Hopefully this year that takes a lot off the offense, so you don't have to worry about that. So there's a lot more calmness and not trying to make everything happen in one play, which leads to fumbles. Jadon Blue is probably my number 2 guy, because he did have a lot of fumble problems when we drafted him. We knew that when we drafted him. But everything else looked great about this guy. Now, the second year, I've seen a lot of great runs in camp so far, but you got to show that out on the football field. Like in these preseason games, as long as you don't fumble the ball that much, I think he will be fine. If he can hold on the ball, he could be a really good number 2 for us. And honestly, not many other people are fumbling. I guess I could say CD holding on to the ball, because he had a lot of big drops against the Eagles this year. And he
sold me on fantasy this year.
Well, but he had some big drops, but I think he'll be fine, because he still had over 1,000 yards this year. I'm not worried about CD Lamb. I think he'll be fine. But I guess that would be my third guy, even though he didn't really fumble too much. It was just
a lot of drops.
Yeah, but I'm not too worried about him. I think he's still a great player. He'll still be good this year. Not worried about it. My third question for you is, how comfortable do you think Carnell Tate will look in his first year, after we talked about him for a little bit?
Well, I think we'll kind of find out tomorrow. I don't think he'll play too much. Obviously, you don't want to see your first-round rookie get injured, in preseason. But I think you'll see him take a couple snaps from the slot position as a receiver, maybe play some outside X, Z spot. So, obviously, I think, like I said, touching on Brian Dable, with his play call and if he lets loose and lets it fly, Cardinal Tate as a rookie could potentially have a 1,000-yard season with 10+ touchdowns through the air. I think the sky's the limit for this kid. We saw how great he was at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think if you just keep him safe and secure during preseason, let him play here and there, and just save him and rest him for the actual season. Like I said, I know he's a rookie, but you saw what he did at Ohio State, and if you're going to take a receiver in the top 5, you've got to have that confidence. And I think as a coaching staff, especially Brian Dable, he has confidence in his players on offense. So I just think if you keep him secure, but it's kind of hard to keep somebody secure and let them loose, and it's on Cam Ward too to not throw balls that can send a guy to a hospital.
Yeah.
And I think that's the safety part of it. But if you're confident enough of your receivers to go out there and make big time plays, you can go 50-50 safety and let it fly. And I think with Cardinal Tate, he has that happy medium because, like I said, you saw at Ohio State under Coach Ryan Day, and obviously Chip Kelly is their OC for a few years. Like I said, I'm really excited to see Cardinal Tate play. I think you don't hold him back, and I think as a rookie, could be a little bit stretchy, but I think you could see him just get over that 1,000 mark. Not too crazy, but just right over it as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be happy with it.
Yeah.
I'd be completely happy as a Titans fan because, like I said, we had some good receivers. A.J. Brown, that kind of went down. Now he's with the Patriots.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, Cardinal Tate, looking forward to seeing him play. Love the guy. Great player. My last question for you, what is your prediction on your guys' record this year?
Last year we went 7-9-1. So, I want to see improvement from that, obviously. And, we did that with the worst defense in the league. We were almost 500 with the worst defense in the league. That's pretty crazy if you ask me. I'm going to have to say the 12-5 range.
That's.
I think we're going to win a couple more games that we should have won last year because the defense is going to make some big plays that step up. Game on the line, I think they make some big plays to help us win a couple of these games so we don't have to score 50 points a game. But I think 12-5 is a good range for this team. Not knowing what we're getting into right now, because it's still hard to tell what this team is going to be right now.
Yeah.
On paper, it looks like it should be better, but can they throw it out there onto the field? We will have to find out that. 12-5 is my record. What's your record?
What was that softball score that one time with the Washington County play?
What
was that score?
17-0.
Exactly. I'm just playing. I think a good 9-8, 10-7. I just think with the talent we've got on both sides of the ball, and if you look at the Titans' schedule, there are some big wins we could get in the division this year. Obviously, I think if you break down the scheduling, the Titans could either be 2-2 or 3-1 through week 4. I think we beat the Jets at home. Philly, I'm not worried about Philly. Jalen Hurts, mid, overrated. Cam Ward is better. Prove me wrong. Don't count the Super Bowl. Don't count all that. Who does Jalen Hurts have besides Devontae Smith?
Mekhi Lemon.
Who? He ain't good. He's not good.
We haven't even seen him play yet.
Let me tell you something. Cardinal Tate is going to burn Cooper DeJean downfield. Cooper DeJean doesn't want the smoke. Once he gets burned downfield, Jason, you see his big hand right here? Times that by 2 by Gunnar Helm. He's going to stiff arm him to the ground, make him cry to his mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gunnar Helm is like that.
I'm sure that.
And we're going to get our get back for Tavondre Sweat getting traded week 1. He's not sacking Cam Ward. Our line's like that. No, I'm worried about the offensive lineman. But seriously, on a serious note, I really think 9-8 or 10-7. I think if you have a good offense and a decent defense, I'm thinking of, like I said, 9-8, 10. I think we make the wild card, but we get smoked by some good. I'm thinking we're going to get smoked. We're going to get smoked. We're not.
I hope we can make it past the division.
We're going to get smoked by New England or Buffalo or Baltimore. I quit.
I just want to make it to an NFC Championship. It's only been
I've seen an AFC Championship. We blew that lead wide open in the waters.
I haven't seen one. That was 30 years ago.
And we're 20.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. The math's right.
I mean, you can go back and watch it on YouTube.
Exactly.
You've technically seen it.
Yep, I have.
I've technically seen Tennessee win a national championship in football. Went back and watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, I was watching it back.
This year is our year. Tennessee football's going 11-1.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where we end that. So, Two Dogs Talking Ball out.